Hi everyone, I'm just here to do another part of kind of the craft with me that I've been doing recently, using up the, well, not using it up, but you know, using up stash and working with the Sewing Bird Tilda paper pad. So we've obviously made various embellishments so far, and today what I thought we'd do is, when we've kind of had a look to see how they would look in a journal, I've just kind of pulled this journal in. So what I've done, obviously in kind of, as you know, slow time off air, is I've stitched in obviously the signatures, and I've also covered the cover with this fabric, which I thought went really nicely with the kind of kit that we have been using. So I'm going to just try and kneel up a bit so that I can kind of see a little bit of what I'm filming, because otherwise I really can't tell whether I'm in frame or not. So yeah, basically I have covered that in fabric. Now, I did have a kind of bit of a mishap. This is the first time that I've ever kind of done it this way round. I thought that I would cover the envelope, because this is just a soft envelope cover, with the fabric first and then stitch in the signatures. Now, I have never done that before. Normally I would stitch the signatures in and then I would just kind of glue fabric on, you know, avoiding the signature kind of thing, do it in two halves. Not sure that this was the technique for me, because unfortunately when I then stitched them in, can you see there that the front is shorter than the back, which is a bit frustrating. And I also, after I glued the fabric on, I stitched around it with the sewing machine, which you probably can't really see, to be honest, but it's too close for me to be able to chop this down in any way. And also obviously it's an envelope, so it would come flapping open anyway. So yeah, not overly happy with that, but you know, that's kind of how it is. And obviously kind of, you know, as part of these kind of process videos, I guess it's quite nice to see mistakes that we all make, or I'm saying we all, maybe it is just me, but certainly the mistakes that I make, and then how to kind of get around them, because I mean, I like to think that I'm not the only person who makes mistakes, and that we all kind of have things like this happen. So I guess kind of, you know, what's quite good is to be able to then, you know, think how we can kind of get around it. Anyway, moving on from that. So I've then covered the inside in some more paper, which I thought coordinated nicely with the things that we've been making. And then what I've done is I've just literally, just now, as I've come to kind of set myself up to work, is placed the bits and bobs that we've been making roughly kind of where I think they might go into the journal, to give us an idea of, you know, how it's going to look, and also how many pages we've got left to actually need to make things for. I have to say I was disappointed to see that there were quite so many that we still need to make, but you know, that's fine. So that's that, and yeah, so let's get cracking kind of straight away, really. So I thought what we'd do is probably place this one here. Actually, no, sorry, a bit scatty today for some reason. I thought what we'd do is actually make another couple of embellishments before we get sticking any into the journal. So just in case we want to swap the order around and things like that. So I hope that's okay with everybody, because I think what we don't, or what I don't like, is then if suddenly all of my pink things were all together and then all of the blue things were all together. I was hoping that they would have a bit more of a kind of mixed in, you know, order to them. So we won't glue anything in just yet. So what I quite like doing in journals lately is kind of having these little flip ups, which I know that I think it's Amity Bloom does her tip-ins, her fabric tip-ins, which are lovely. but I quite like doing them with paper as well. So obviously this is the paper that I used on the inside cover. So I thought to bring it into the journal a bit more, we could obviously kind of use this inside the journal as well, because that kind of ties it in nicely. And then the underside is this pink, which obviously, you know, we've been using pink, so that isn't dissimilar anyway, so that's, you know, that's all good. So I'm just going to trim along this edge because I know very well that this is not straight. I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm still battling with my cold, would you believe, but hopefully it's kind of, well, easing slightly. So I just thought if we have that like that. Now I possibly won't have it on here because I was hoping to actually cover this whole corner up. So what I might actually do is make a corner to go on that page. So let's kind of go through and see where else we could have it. We could maybe have it here. Now when I do things like this, I like them to be on the flat page, if you see what I mean, not the one that's kind of curving up. I don't know quite how else to describe that, but it's just that then this will lay flatter and work much better. If I pop it onto this one, hopefully this is coming on camera. Oh gosh, just trying to see. I can't explain this very well, but if I stick it onto this page that's kind of curving over the book, this will not lay very flat. Do you see how at the bottom it's kind of not laying flat? And then obviously kind of it just, I find it disrupts kind of the journal a little bit. So what I like to do is kind of have them on the flat page. So we could either have it on the flat pages here, or we could find a flat page on that side, which obviously then would be the opposite pages. So, I mean, actually, what we could do is have it here, because I quite liked it on that polka dot paper. Is she going to cover up that? Not quite. Not quite, but I'll leave her there for the moment anyway. And that's why I'm not gluing things in just yet, because, you know, it's nice to have flexibility and be able to move things around. So, moving on. We've got that piece there, and then what I've done, I've just torn out a page from the Tilda book again. Oh, it's going to just literally kill me to actually cut into this because I love, love, love the rear side of this page. But I'm going to be brave and I'm going to just go for it. So what I thought I'd do is cut this lady out, because obviously she is going to go nicely on this paper. And actually, she will go nicely with the polka dot. So let's cut her out. Now, the only thing is, she is in fact the same image that we used when we did the envelope embellishment. So if I just have a look where I plan to put that, because, and again, you know, this is another reason for not gluing down, because the last thing that you want, that's here, would be the envelope being, you know, on the very next page. Do you see what I mean? Because then you've got this lady twice in a row. So just kind of wanted to make sure that that was not going to be the case. So I can have her like that. And then obviously we can just decorate around her and put some bits and bobs around. Oh no, I've come without my tin. I've come without my tin of little embellishments. Now, I have not worked out a way to pause this, I'm afraid. So I'm going to be super quick and run and get my tin. I will really try my hardest to be quick. Right, I'm back. Shut the door. Okay. Puffed out now, so from running to get the tin. Right, let me kneel up again so that I can hopefully see a little bit into the iPad screen. Right, okay. Panic over. So what we can do is kind of have her with some little nice bits and bobs kind of going on. Now, do we want to have anything behind her? Like layer her on book page. I've also got these little, I always call these, hopefully I'm in frame, kind of like labels, which I really like using these. I think they're really great for, you know, writing things like the date or, you know, where you were at an occasion or a time, or who's in the photo if you're putting a photo on there, or, you know, they're just really great for kind of headlining, headlining your journaling, which, you know, I think is really nice. So I think they're a kind of versatile embellishment piece. So we could have that kind of at the bottom. Now I'm kind of inclined to feel I don't really want to necessarily back her onto book page. It's just for some reason not kind of calling to me. Just having a rummage through my little bag of bits and bobs to the side here where I've got things cut out and stamped images and things. So I think she is quite nice as she is, to be honest. So let's glue her in. And what we could actually do is glue her as a pocket at the side as well. So hold on. Oh, look at that gorgeous paper on the back. Oh, I nearly glued the bit that I just said let's have as a pocket. It's because it threw me when I turned it over and saw that gorgeous paper, and I thought, oh no, why am I covering that up? Oh, applying glue to such a beautiful paper. That's just sacrilege, isn't it? Right, pop her down like that. Okay. Now let me rummage through my bag and find some tissue to be able to wipe up any excess glue. She looks really nice, doesn't she? Right. Then we could have the little bit down here. Now, last week we made these little chipboard tiles. I don't know whether you can see those. I can't now see the iPad again. Right. So, I mean, we could have a little tile on here if we wanted. Instead of this, that might be quite nice. Kind of weigh it down. If I could actually have that, tuck it in. That might just be too big. Let's cut this slightly smaller. I'm not sure whether it's going to really work tucking it into a kind of wooden piece. So bear with me a little bit. This is just kind of experimentation. I think don't think that's going to work really, because obviously this is not flexible at all to be able to kind of, you know, bend it slightly to be able to kind of tuck it in. So I don't think that's going to work, unfortunately. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? But I do, however, really like it with that at the bottom. And then obviously what I thought we would do is pop some lace trim across the top of this when we glue this in to the journal. And that would look really pretty then. Now, although I had said we're not going to be, or I didn't intend on gluing pieces in, I may glue this one in just because this one, obviously, you know, part of it is, well, no, I'll probably get away without gluing it in for the moment. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just pop the lace on like that. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, so I'll just pop some glue along there. Now, I did have a request from somebody asking me which printer I had bought, because I'm still loving my new printer. And I did look at it this morning because I thought, oh, I must say what printer it is. And I will obviously reply on your comments. I only hadn't replied because I obviously hadn't looked to check what printer it was. I think it is a 6950, a HP 6950 is the printer, and really, you know, really pleased with it. It really is a nice printer. I mean, I'm sure there's loads of nice printers out there, but for me this is a really nice one because normally our printers are so rubbish. So I'm really pleased with it. Okay, I did manage to take the scanner back, so that was good news. Right, okay, and then I think we'll have this down here. What I might do is just chop that down slightly more because it's quite long on the page. Because I have still been busy working on my book kit, but because you see what I wanted to do was be able to print it out, ideally make a journal with it before actually releasing it. But to be honest, I don't think I'm going to have time to actually do that because I'm excited obviously to release it. And I have got quite a few things kind of on the go at the moment, so then trying to make a journal as well, it will delay it by some time. But I have spent, you know, any free time that I've had over the last few days playing with the kit, the printed out version of the kit, which is, I find, really helpful because it's the only way to actually notice any things that I guess don't work or do work, or, you know, that I wanted to change. So it was kind of essential for me that I did do that. I'm just going to glue this on, and I'm going to use the hot glue to glue that. So I have been playing around with it, and obviously, you know, having played around with it a little bit, I have changed one or two things off the back of that, because I did notice then one or two things that, you know, something would print slightly too far to the left. There was something that then printed which I hadn't noticed, had something grey on it. There was something else that had kind of a weird spot on it. I'm not sure what that was. But kind of when you first print it, you didn't necessarily, or I didn't necessarily notice. So, you know, it's been really good exercise for me to be able to be playing with it and kind of making sure that it's, you know, that I'm happy with it, really. So hopefully I'm going to actually be able to release that really soon. It's really, you know, been a bit all-consuming, but I'm not complaining in any way. I've absolutely loved it and really found it exciting working with it. And actually I'm hoping to kind of make a bit more of it, if you see what I mean, because I would like to do a kind of blue kit, because I changed some of the images to blue and they looked really pretty. So I thought I'm going to try and do a kind of blue version of it. Oh, that looks pretty, doesn't it? So I'm going to try and do that. And also the blue one will be predominantly the same images, but in tones of blue. But it will have a few different things. I have obviously already started working on it a bit, and I've already then started doing a few little kind of changes. So just kind of a couple of different journaling cards, things like that. You know, just so it's a little bit kind of varied. It's quite huge so far, the kit. It's kind of coming out at, I think it's about 18 pages, and I think the blue one actually is 19 or 20 pages. So it's a pretty huge kit. I can't remember now how many individual elements there are, but I've tried to do it so there's lots of things that can be fussy cut out, because I mean, I love fussy cutting, and I think lots of crafters do. So I wanted to have lots of things that could be fussy cut and, you know, mix and match and overlay things and things like that. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm hoping to do the video later today of the kit as it is when it's printed, and then I will make probably a few you know, samples of how to use it over the next couple of days, and hopefully then aim to release it. Sorry, I'm just rummaging through my button bag. Then hopefully aim to release it, I mean, hopefully by the middle of this week. Hopefully. You know, I can't guarantee that, but all being well, that's kind of in my head is how I would like to kind of to do that. As I say, I'm really excited by it, and I love having you know, unlimited kind of printable things, because I love fussy cutting out from I love these purple buttons. I love fussy cutting out from you know, paper packs and things like that. But obviously the problem is you've only got so many, you know, you've only got the amount that are in the pack. So obviously the beauty of the digital kits, you know, I'm hoping that people will find, is that, you know, if you wanted to kind of layer things up, decoupage them, coordinate so you had kind of the same flowers kind of on different pages and the, you know, things like that, then obviously you've got the ability to print them out as much as you like, which, you know, offers great flexibility and kind of the opportunity to be able to kind of do lots more with your journals, I think. And I mean, the other thing is kind of looking at the kit. I mean, obviously, as I say, it is turning out huge. So I mean, hopefully you would have loads left over that you maybe wouldn't even use in one journal, that you could use you know, in multiple journals then. Right, now I think that looks really pretty, and she would just be then glued onto there and just fold back so you've got the journaling underneath. So love that, looks really nice. Now this one, I thought here or here. So we've got that one, and then so we've got quite a few kind of blank spaces yet. So I did bring along a little book page pocket that I had kind of, I've just stitched it round on the sewing machine. So I thought we could do something with that. Again, we could use a bit more of this kind of paper to kind of bring it into the journal. So we could kind of cover that like that, maybe even the top half, because obviously that's not up the right way. Or we could kind of fussy cut something out, kind of pop on there. Just having a look. Or we could use, or can I bring myself to use something else from here? Oh, it's a tricky one. Let's just pop out one of these sewing machines. So another one of those large shaped kind of journaling pieces. And I will just pop out the black sewing machine again because just in case the black one might work better. I know that we've used a black one before on, I think, that first episode. And we have also got this zip, which is kind of cool. And that might work on that book page pocket quite nicely. So let's have a look. We'll just pop out a couple more buttons because they're always good to have kind of dotted around, aren't they? So just pop those out. Oh, right. Okay. Hooked up. So could have the sewing machine somewhere kind of on here. That's quite nice, isn't it? We could have kind of a zip going across. It's kind of cool. And then we could have a couple of buttons there. That's quite nice, isn't it? Just have a look. Some lace trim. Yes, that's quite nice. Now let me just check that we don't want the red sewing machine. The red's quite nice because we have got the red button actually. So what I'm going to do, I will just stick the sewing machine onto the book page. So it's Monday today. It was a lovely weekend. It was very hot, very nice. Not too hot. It wasn't unpleasantly so, but it was just right. And yeah, it was really nice. Why do the weekends go so quickly? It's such a shame, isn't it? Right. But it looks like it's another lovely day today. So it was warm already this morning. And looking out now, it still looks like it's nice. So I think it's forecast to be lovely all week. So that's good. Right. Then I thought some lace trim and the zip piece and a little button. Now, do we want the lace over the zip or under the zip? I actually quite liked the zip over, I thought, actually, but oh, again, decisions. It's so tricky. Yeah, I prefer it over. So I'm going to glue the lace on. Like that. And obviously this piece. Now what I'm going to probably do, well, no, it might be okay actually, because here, as you can see, when I tore it out, I had a bit of a mishap with the paper and it's become separated. So let me just stick that back. Let me check what time we are. Oops. I'm no longer kneeling up, so let me just rummage around on the chair. 30 minutes, okay. Right. Okay. And what we do, we just pop that down like that. Okay. Then I should just trim this off here. Okay. Right, liking that. Oh, so cute with that red button. So loving that. So I'm just going to pop that button there. I wonder if I could put a couple of real buttons on as well, because this is all part of my mission to get using buttons. Been shamed into using buttons because I mean, if you've watched my videos, you know, quite a bit, if you're a regular watcher, then you may have seen my button embellishments when I talked about my compulsion for buying buttons. And you know, I don't actually use a great deal of buttons, so why I constantly feel the need to buy them is very odd, and I have no idea. But I just find something about buttons just draws me in, and they just are so cute, aren't they? I just can't ever resist. And then since that video, you may have seen me mention on another video that I then ended up buying a whole nother bag of buttons, which again I just could not resist. So I've really got an abundance of buttons now, so you know, but I do like them, even if I don't use them as much as I could or should. Right, so that's really cute. So that's that one. And actually what I might do is just put this one to one side with something heavy on it, just because this is obviously being glued onto the lace. So I just want to make sure it really gets stuck down. So let me just put that to one side and pop a book on that. Okay, I think we've got time for one more embellishment. And again, what I thought we would do is another corner. So again, I'm going to use the pink that we used for the other corner. You know, just to kind of keep in a theme there. And what I'll do, I will just chop this down. Like that. And then I think I've said before, but I like to just kind of roughly tear where I'm going to have corner pockets. I think they look really nice when they've just got the torn edges. I don't necessarily like them with the what do you call this? You know, the raw edges. But I do like the look of the torn edges, if you see what I mean. So, you know, we could have something like that. It's actually a little bit big, so I'm just going to tear that down a bit more. And obviously tearing this way, you avoid getting that, you know, the core of the paper on the outside. It's here on the underside. So that's why I'm tearing it that way rather than the front ways. Right, it's still quite long, but I'm going to just drop the top like that. Okay, that's better. So, and again, I mean, we could have this on this page to cover up this, and we just got a rose poking out, that's fine. Or I did quite like her there, to be honest, so maybe we'll have her there. Right, but hence, you know, why I'm reluctant to stick things in at this precise moment, to be honest, because, you know, it's nice to have a bit of flexibility and move things around, isn't it? So on there, we've obviously got that piece of zip now, which we could have kind of going along somewhere. That's quite nice. And then just having a look through, because we're obviously now, you know, we've used quite a lot of the bits and pieces now. So just seeing whether we've got anything much left. Oh, that red heart, that's quite nice, isn't it? Anything much left from the original kind of pieces. And I thought I had maybe put some buttons or something in here, but I might be wrong. And there's one. There's another one. And that might... Okay. Because obviously, now I'm obviously panicking and I don't want to now cut into my very last page of die cuts. So what we could do is kind of get away with it, or get by maybe having a piece of zip, maybe a heart, maybe a couple of buttons or something, or maybe a button in the middle of the heart. That's quite nice, isn't it? We've got obviously pink button here too. That just poking out kind of underneath. And then what we could do is like add some stamped images. So I've just got here a little kind of packet of some stamped bits and pieces. So I'll just bring a couple in. Also, we could have some doily if we wanted. So let's see what we can do here. We could have this one. Sorry that this is very boring now for you guys at home just watching me cut this out. But hopefully you're all crafting along and doing something as well, so you're not just kind of glued to watching really boring bits like this. But hopefully you're maybe doing some fussy cutting yourselves, or, you know, making kind of a journal yourself, or, you know, stamping or punching things out, or maybe kind of, I don't know, using your die cut machine to cut some things. Something like that. So, you know, hopefully kind of you're busy doing other things and not necessarily just kind of watching me doing nothing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Well, I think what I'll do is I'm going to bring the pad back and just see what else is in here that we could use. So we have got these couple of bits here, which we obviously haven't used yet. So I like this. We could have her kind of somewhere here. That's quite nice, isn't it? I quite like that. And then what we could do is obviously decorate her with a little bit of lace. Just tie it in. That looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay, let's go for that. So I'm really trying my best not to overthink things today, because I was very disappointed with the video last Monday in that we only really achieved so little. So I'm trying to work a little bit faster today and kind of not dilly-dally so much. Oh gosh, that was very slippery. Because that's just frustrating to watch, and I'm sure nobody wants to watch that, do they? Oh, talking of watching things, I went to the cinema last week and I watched Ocean's 8. It was really good. It was brilliant. I love watching, you know, female casts, I guess. I mean, to me, I just think, oh, females are so much nicer to watch, aren't they? You know, because I love watching kind of all the nice clothes and things like that. And oh, it was just an exciting, feel-good film. It was really good, really well done. Everybody played their part brilliantly in it. So if you haven't seen it and you're kind of wondering what to watch, then that was a good one. It was really enjoyable, really good. Right, that's that. And I'm just going to have kind of the heart there to the side with the button. So glue this on. Yes, I do love watching films. We seem to go to the cinema a lot. We're lucky because we've got a cinema really close to us, and you can buy these unlimited cards where you just pay like a monthly amount, which is barely the cost of going to the cinema one time in a month, and then you can go as much as you like. So they're really good value, and that's what we do. And then you can get this offer called Meerkat Movies, where you get a voucher so that you can then obviously get a buy one get one free. So unbelievably, that also works with your unlimited card. So that means that you can obviously, you know, for that price of that unlimited card, on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, or Tuesday or a Wednesday, because you can only do it once, you know, with your code, you can get a code and then somebody else can come along for free to the cinema. So providing that the films are, you know, not above a 12. I mean, my oldest son, he's 15 now, so he can obviously come to see a 15, but providing that the other films are not above a 12, then we quite often go to the cinema, you know, with the kids. Often not with our 15-year-old, because he doesn't necessarily want to be seen on a family outing at the cinema anymore, but, you know, we go with the other two because it actually makes it then a cheap night out. And obviously the cinema really is pretty expensive if you're paying for the tickets as you go in. You know, it's not a cheap night out at all. But obviously if you can use your unlimited card for a buy one get one free, then that makes it really good value, you know, because as I say, it's barely the cost of going to the cinema once a month. And then if two of you can also go in on that day of the week, then that's pretty amazing, to be honest. I don't want to kind of say this too much, because I don't want anyone from the cinema to kind of watch and think, oh, time to increase our prices, but it is really, really good. You know, I mean, it's only good obviously if you go to the cinema quite often, or if you would go to the cinema quite often or use it. You know, obviously if you wouldn't really make use of it particularly, then it's not really good value anyway. But I mean, for us, we are lucky that we live near the cinema, and so we do use it, you know, which is amazing. Because I think actually for a family of 4 to go to the cinema, and as I say, we are a family of 5, but our oldest son wouldn't necessarily come, but for a family of 4 to go to the cinema, I mean, you're really looking at kind of over £40, which, you know, is pretty expensive. I mean, it used to be thought of as quite a cheap night out, didn't it, going to the cinema, but not anymore. It's pretty extortionate. So I was just looking to see whether I had my, you know, foam dots things to be able to raise that other button up. But I don't. Oh, yeah, I have. Yeah, I mean, £40 is not very affordable, is it, really, to go and see a film? And I think the shame is obviously you don't know that the film's going to actually be good, because, you know, just because reviews say it's good, I mean, you might not necessarily think it's good yourself, and then obviously you've paid all that money to watch a, you know, rubbish film. Right. Gosh, I'm sorry if I'm just waffling on and on about rubbish here. I mean, it's just because obviously I don't want to be sat here in silence crafting. So I'm just kind of telling you my my life story, really. My hobbies and things like that. Because I figure it's kind of more interesting than watching me just craft in silence. But actually, when I uploaded a video the other day, I just happened to just, you know, stop it kind of midway just to kind of check that it was okay. And I kind of overheard myself and thought, oh my gosh, I sound so boring. So I just apologise, but I'm doing this with the best of intentions, just to kind of try and make it more entertaining, not less entertaining, believe it or not. Right, I might just hot glue this down, because obviously just it will stick nice and quickly. There we go. And I've left that kind of like flappy wings at the side, like that. Okay, looking quite good. Now, do we want a little flower on there, or we could have one up here? Quite like that bright pink one. It's quite nice, isn't it? Okay. Just pop that on like that. Right, I don't know how we're doing for time, because I'm not kneeling up now, so I cannot see the screen again. I hope that I have actually been in frame for this video, because that would be a bit mortifying again if I'd actually been doing all this and waffling on about the most boring rubbish and not in frame. I mean, talk about add insult to injury. So, you know, I'll just pop a button in the centre of that flower. Okay. Right. Looking good. Or I think it's looking good anyway. I hope that everyone else does. Right. Okay. So we can have that there. Or anywhere else, you know. Anywhere will do. And then, you know, I just kind of did notice the little chipboard tiles again, you know, from last week, and what we were talking about, just having one running along the bottom of the page, could kind of do something like that, which would just look so cute, wouldn't it? So, I mean, we could have it across the bottom of the opposite page, like that. And just leave it kind of plain for journaling, actually. Would be really nice. Should we do that? Should we actually glue something into the journal? Or is that a little bit too kind of scary? What do you think? Oh, let's go for it. Let's throw caution to the wind. Let's glue something in. Okay, I'm going to just use the hot glue, because obviously I just want it to stick nice and quickly. Like that. Okay. Let's get the scissors. Cut that at the edge. Tidy it up a bit. Okay. I'm just going to add a bit more glue because obviously that's quite a wide piece of lace and it's obviously just glued at the bottom, if you see what I mean. So pop that like that. Just keep her in there and then we can just stick that on there, which I just think that looks really, really, really nice. You know, very simple, but really effective, really nice. I really like that. Okay. And obviously this page is nice pale colour, so nice and easy to journal on there. Oh, I love that. I love that. Right. Sometimes simple is good. Right. Okay. So let me see what the time is. Oops, we're up to 51 minutes. So that's probably going to be it for today. So we haven't got too much more to do in this journal. Maybe clusters will be the way to go for the rest of it because obviously I'm now running out of pieces to use and it's scaring me, literally scaring me to be using, you know, any more of that pad. So we may have to go down the clusters route now. But you know, that's fine, that's not a bad thing. And I'm deciding what to do with this centre page because I love this paper, and when we were kind of making things, everything that we placed on the honeycomb paper all looked really nice. So, you know, just kind of trying to decide what to kind of do there. So, or maybe we'll actually put these two on there because they do look really good, don't they? Well, we'll have a think about it and we'll chat about it in the next episode. So, yes, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you've kind of been able to follow along today, you know, and enjoyed what we've done. I think the journal's coming along really beautifully. Now, last time that I did this episode, I did say I wanted to kind of talk about this journal and kind of my plans for it. You know, which I'm sure you've been all dying to hear and dying in suspense of what the plans are, you know, because I'm sure it's just so exciting. So that's all sarcasm, by the way, just in case that didn't come across, because sometimes, you know, like in an email when people can't really tell you're joking, I thought I best clarify that I am joking there. I'm not thinking that anyone's living, you know, holding on, waiting to hear the announcement. But my plan for this journal really, when I originally started making it, was I was planning on doing a kit, which obviously hence all the bits and bobs, and then just stitching the journal together and doing it as a giveaway, so that whoever got the journal could have the fun of obviously putting all of the elements into the journal. Was my original plan. I've kind of backtracked slightly because I guess I'm just being a bit selfish because I'm not quite ready to part with it just yet, and I'm not quite finished, you know, kind of with it. So my plan now is, oh, well, and another reason actually was because obviously of my error where I said about this not lining up now. I wouldn't feel that happy obviously giving that away as is, but hopefully we're going to cover it up and it won't be so apparent, and then hopefully it would be still a beautiful journal, you know, and still be good. So hopefully the plan will be to have this as a giveaway once it's completed. I think I hit 1,800 subscribers this weekend, which again, just want to thank everyone so much. I cannot believe it. That just is phenomenal, and wow, thank you so much. I can't believe anybody actually is interested in watching, and maybe you won't be after my really boring stories, to be honest. But you know, just wanted to say thank you so much. So my intention is that once this is complete, hopefully we'll do this as a giveaway. I think it looks really lovely. even in spite of, you know, my kind of muck up here with the cover, you know, which that has really frustrated me, but, you know, I still think it's a nice journal. And, you know, I love, love, love all the colours of it, and I love the lace, I love all the Tilda bits and pieces, I love the papers. So hopefully kind of, you know, you all really love it too. And, you know, hopefully it will make a nice gift for somebody. So that's the intention. I don't know obviously how many more episodes there's going to be. It depends kind of how quickly we kind of work through the rest, I guess, but certainly probably another couple at least. And then once it's done, we'll do a final flip through and kind of go from there with how the giveaway will work, which I'm still kind of having a think at the moment of what's the best way to do it. So yeah, that's the plan. That was the announcement that I was, you know, so excited to make last week. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and sorry if I've waffled on now a little bit more at the end than I intended on. But, you know, sometimes that's just, once I get started, I can't stop. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.